Today our topic is what the Stoics believed about happiness. The Stoics were ancient philosophers who lived over 2,000 years ago, but their ideas about life and happiness are still very relevant today. They believed that true happiness does not come from external things like money, fame, or possessions, but from within ourselves. According to the Stoics, happiness is a state of mind that we can achieve by living a life of virtue, wisdom, and self-control. They taught that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond to those events. This is a powerful idea because it means that no matter what happens in our lives, we always have the power to choose our attitude and our actions. The Stoics believe that the key to happiness is to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot control. This is easier said than done, of course, but it is a very practical approach to life. For example, we cannot control the weather, but we can control how we prepare for it. We cannot control other people's opinions of us, but we can control how we treat others and how we respond to their opinions. By focusing on our own actions and attitudes, we can find peace and happiness even in difficult situations. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that our happiness is not determined by external events, but by our internal response to those events. If we can learn to control our reactions and maintain a calm and rational mind, we can find happiness even in the face of adversity. This is not to say that we should ignore our emotions or pretend that everything is fine when it is not. Rather, the Stoics believe that we should acknowledge our emotions, but not let them control us. We should strive to see things as they really are, without adding unnecessary drama or negativity. Another important Stoic idea is that happiness comes from living in accordance with nature. This does not mean that we should live in the wilderness or give up all modern conveniences. Instead, it means that we should live in a way that is true to our own nature as human beings. According to the Stoics, human beings are rational creatures who are capable of reason, self-control, and virtue. Therefore, to live in accordance with nature means to live a life of reason, self-control, and virtue. This is not always easy, but it is the path to true happiness. The Stoics also believe that we should not be attached to material possessions or external success. They recognize that these things can be taken away from us at any time, and that they do not bring lasting happiness. Instead, they believe that true happiness comes from within, from living a life of virtue and wisdom. This does not mean that we should not strive for success or enjoy the good things in life. It simply means that we should not depend on them for our happiness. If we can learn to be content with what we have and focus on what truly matters, we can find lasting happiness. One of the most important Stoic practices is the practice of mindfulness. This means being fully present in the moment and aware of our thoughts and actions. By practicing mindfulness, we can become more aware of our own reactions and learn to control them. This is not easy, but it is a powerful tool for finding happiness. The Stoics believe that by being mindful, we can avoid being carried away by our emotions and make better decisions. This is especially important in difficult situations, when our emotions might otherwise lead us to act impulsively or irrationally. The Stoics also believed in the importance of self-discipline. They recognized that it is not enough to simply know what is right. We must also have the strength to do what is right. This requires self-discipline and a commitment to living a virtuous life. The Stoics believed that by practicing self-discipline, we can become stronger and more resilient. We can learn to overcome our weaknesses and live a life of integrity and honor. This is not always easy, but it is the path to true happiness. Another important Stoic idea is that we should focus on the present moment. The Stoics believe that the past is gone and the future is uncertain, so we should not waste our time worrying about things that we cannot change. Instead, we should focus on what we can do right now to live a good life. This means being fully present in the moment and making the most of every opportunity. By focusing on the present, we can avoid the anxiety and regret that come from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. The Stoics also believed in the importance of gratitude. They recognized that it is easy to take things for granted and to focus on what we lack, but this only leads to dissatisfaction and unhappiness. Instead, they believed that we should cultivate a sense of gratitude for what we have. By focusing on the good things in our lives and being thankful for them, we can find happiness even in difficult times. This does not mean that we should ignore our problems or pretend that everything is perfect. Rather, it means that we should recognize the good things in our lives and be grateful for them. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This means that our happiness is not determined by external events, but by our own thoughts and attitudes. If we can learn to control our thoughts and focus on what is good and positive, we can find happiness even in difficult situations. This is not always easy, but it is a powerful tool for finding happiness. The Stoics also believed in the importance of helping others. They recognized that we are all part of a larger community and that we have a responsibility to help others. By helping others, we can find a sense of purpose and fulfillment that goes beyond our own personal happiness. This does not mean that we should neglect our own needs or sacrifice our own happiness for the sake of others. Rather, it means that we should strive to live a life of virtue and wisdom and to use our talents and abilities to make the world a better place. In conclusion, the Stoics believed that true happiness comes from within, from living a life of virtue, wisdom, and self-control. They believed that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond to those events. By focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot control, we can find peace and happiness even in difficult situations. The Stoics also believed in the importance of mindfulness, self-discipline, gratitude, and helping others. By practicing these principles, we can live a life of integrity and honor and find true happiness. The Stoic philosophy is not always easy to follow, but it is a powerful and practical approach to life that can help us find happiness and fulfillment.